So, the metric system is used by a lot of the world, and what's going to be nice about this section is that we don't need to worry about unit fractions, and really we don't even need a calculator for these. There are ways of making those conversions like we did with the US measurement system, but I'm going to show you a much simpler way to go about it. So something you'll want for this section is this diagram right here. And there are a few different forms of this, but I particularly like this one. So what you'll see in the middle, there are meters, grams, and liters. So meters will be measurement for length, grams will be measurement for weight and mass, and liters will be measurement for volume capacity, like we looked at with the US measurement system. But as you saw with the US system, there were a lot of different forms, like where they just have meters, we have feet and miles and inches, things like that. For the metric system, what you'll see is meters, kilometers, hectometers, decameters, decimeters, centimeters, millimeters. Then for measurements with weight and mass, there are grams, and then there are kilograms, hectograms, decagrams, decigrams, centigrams, milligrams. And then with liters, kiloliters, hectoliters, decaliters, deciliters, centiliters, milliliters. So with the metric system, what you get are these forms of measurement, but then you use these same wordings at the beginning of them, and I'm completely blanking on what the word is for that, so sorry about that, but you can use these different beginnings to the words. So let's look at how this diagram can help us make conversions. So we're converting from 2.8 meters into centimeters. So what I'm going to do is, with my picture up here, we're starting with meters, which means we're starting in the middle right here, and I want to convert to centimeters. Now in terms of location, if I'm starting at meters, I would have to go 1, 2. So I'm moving 2 to the right. In fact, let me just write that as right 2. So if I have 2.8 meters, I'm just going to write 2.8. What I'm going to do is pick up the decimal and move it that same distance. So I'm going to go 1, 2. So my decimal ends up there, which means I need to fill in the blank with a 0 right there. So 280 with a decimal is just 280. And this is centimeters. Centimeters. Done. So the steps that I use for this section are look at your picture, know where you start and where you end up, and then however you have to move on this diagram is going to be the exact same as how your decimal place moves. So let's do some more of these. We're going to go 985 millimeters, and we're going to make that meters. So I'm starting with millimeters, and I want to end up at meters. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So left 3. So with that, if I have my 985 and my decimal is technically there at the end, then I would go to the left 3. So 1, 2, 3 to end up with my decimal there. So that means we would have 0.985, and now we're in meters, and we're done. Then it's exactly the same for other forms of measurement, like if we're working with grams. So I have 0.234 grams, and I want to convert to milligrams. So I'm starting at grams, ending up at milligrams. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So I'm going right 3. So if I grab my 0.234 and right 3, so 1, 2, 3, That means, so I'm going to drop that 0 out front because this is really just 234. And now we have milligrams. If I'm doing 3.29 kilograms and converting to grams, so let me just clear this out here. So we're starting with kilograms, and I want to end up at grams. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So that's right 3. So we're going to have 3.29. And then I'll go 1, 2, 3. Fill in the blank with a 0 there. So this will be 3,290 grams. And then same thing for liters. Sorry, I know I'm going kind of fast through these, but it is just a matter of moving that decimal. So let's see, deciliters to liters. So I'm starting at deciliters, ending at liters. So all I need to do is move right 1. So if I have 12 and my decimal's technically right there, then I would just move that to the right 1 and then fill in the blank with a 0. So that would be 120 liters. Let's see, going deciliters to kiloliters. Let's go to our picture here. So I'm starting at deciliters, ending at kiloliters. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. So with that, I'm going to have 3.2, and we're going to go left 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then fill in the blank with some zeros. So let's see, I'm going to have my decimal, 3 zeros, then the 3, 2, and now this is kiloliters. And that's how we convert within the metric system. So, very different from our conversions within the US system. Again, we could do them the same way as the US system, and making these unit fractions, but it's all based on units of tens and hundreds and thousands. And when you're dividing by those or multiplying those, it really comes down to moving a decimal place. So with that, we can keep it simple and just think about how that decimal moves around using a grid like this.